Do you know that Nigerian lawmakers earn more money than their counterparts in the US, UK, or Canada? Often 10 times more. Meanwhile, a university professor earns less than $500 a month, and a doctor barely makes enough to survive in Nigeria. The question is why? Today, we're digging into exactly how Nigerian senators got so rich, exposing secret allowances, hidden contracts, and the million-dollar schemes behind one of the most expensive legislatures on earth. Nigerian federal lawmakers, these include senators and members of the House of Representatives, receive a base salary which is often supplemented by numerous allowances. The guidelines for these remuneration packages are set by a body called the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. And these haven't really changed since 2007, except for the pending reviews that were sent for approval sometime in 2023. Let me give you a quick breakdown of what is in these guidelines. For basic salaries, a Nigerian senator gets 168,866 naira 70 kobo per month. This is approximately 2 million naira per year. This is a fixed monthly pay and it is the official record. We have motor vehicle fueling and maintenance allowance. This amounts to 126,650 naira per month. Their personal assistant allowance amounts to 42,216 naira 66 kobo per month. Domestic staff allowance comes around 126,650 naira per month. Entertainment allowance is 50,660 naira per month. Utilities allowance is 50,660 naira per month. They spend 25,330 naira per month on newspapers. Wardrobe allowance is 42,216 naira 56 kobo per month. House maintenance is 8,443 naira 33 kobo per month. Constituency allowance 422,166 naira and 66 kobo per month. These regular allowances for vehicle maintenance, personal staff, entertainment, and etc. are paid monthly along with the basic salary, bringing an ordinary senator's official monthly take-home to about 1 million naira per month. Note, this is according to this revenue mobilization body. For the House of Representatives members, they earn slightly less. According to this body, a House member's monthly pay comes around 902,460 naira based on similar allowance percentages applied to a lower base. Notably, this revenues body's public breakdown for legislators does not clearly list a hardship allowance for National Assembly members, unlike some other political offices. For example, in the Nigerian executive salary structure, a hardship allowance equal to 50% of base salary is provided for the president and certain officials. But legislators' compensation disclosures did not itemize a hardship allowance, suggesting that it may not apply or it is embedded differently for lawmakers. Now, in addition to monthly allowances, lawmakers receive several non-regular, which is periodic or one-off allowances during a 4-year term. We have furniture allowance, for example, which is 6,079,200 naira for a senator, which is paid once per tenure, that is every 4-year term. This sum is about 300% of the senator's annual basic salary. Then there is severance gratuity, which is 6,079,200 naira for a senator. This is paid at the end of a tenure, and it is also pegged at 300% of annual salary as an exit allowance. We have vehicle allowance, which comes around 8,105,600 naira for a senator, equivalent to 400% of annual salary. This is typically given as an interest-free loan to purchase an official vehicle to be repaid before leaving office. So, convince me now that the Nigerian senator is currently driving an 8 million naira car. Yeah, convince me. Now, we have accommodation allowance. This is paid yearly. For example, this revenues body schedules specific accommodation allowance of about 4 million naira per year for a senator and 3.97 million naira for a House member. In practice, legislators often have this provided or monetized annually. Then we have the leave allowance, which is typically 10% of annual salary, paid yearly. Another thing here is ESTA codes for overseas travel and duty tour allowances. These are paid when applicable for official travel. Lawmakers receive daily allowance in foreign currencies for trips abroad and allowances for domestic travel or committee works. Documents provided by this revenue mobilization body notes that duty tour and travel allowances are given whenever applicable rather than as fixed regular payments. At the end of the 2015-2019 Senate, that is the 8th National Assembly, each outgoing senator officially was entitled to about 6.08 million naira in severance gratuity, while House member received 5.96 million naira based on 300% of their annual salary. However, budget appropriations for severance have often far exceeded these official amounts. Like in 2019, about 23.7 billion naira was approved to pay severances and allowances to the 8 Assembly's outgoing lawmakers, averaging over 50 million naira per lawmaker, well above the 6 million naira per person recommended by this revenue body. Similarly, in the 2023 budget, 30.17 billion naira was allocated for severance and welcome packages for the transition between the 9th and 10th Assembly, an amount 10 times more than this revenue body stipulated. These packages make the Nigerian National Assembly one of the most expensive in the world. But there's more to this story, because there's just no way a Nigerian senator is driving a car of 8 million naira or living in a house of 3 to 4 million naira. So, what is the actual take-home earnings of these guys? While the official salary and allowance figures from this revenue mobilization body seem modest on paper, Nigerian lawmakers have come under scrutiny for much larger sums they receive under the guise of office running costs and other miscellaneous allowances. These payments, although not labeled as salary, effectively raise their monthly take-home into the tens of millions of naira. In 2018, Senator Shehu Sani, who served in 2015 to 2019, publicly blew the whistle on these opaque allowances. He revealed that each senator was receiving about 13.5 million naira per month as a running cost for their office. This is in addition to a relatively small official salary of around 750,000 naira per month. According to Sani, this money was handed to senators to cover sundry office expenses, but was largely unaccounted for. This disclosure meant a single Nigerian senator's total monthly pay was roughly 14.25 million naira, that is $39,600 at 2018 exchange rates. The leadership of the National Assembly initially stayed silent, but by late 2021, Senate President Ahmad Lawan confirmed the numbers with a slightly different framing. Lawan stated that a senator's base salary is about 1.5 million naira monthly, and a House member's salary about 1.3 million naira monthly. And quarterly, office running allowances are 13 million naira per quarter for each senator, which is equivalent to 4.33 million naira per month, and 8 million naira per quarter for each House of Rep, equivalent to 2.67 million naira per month. Lawan claimed the 13.5 million naira figure Sani gave was for a quarter, not per month, calling the earlier reports a misrepresentation. By 2023, indications are that this running cost had increased further. Newly elected Senator Kawu Somaila from Kano South stated in an August 2023 BBC Hausa interview that due to recent adjustments, quote, each senator gets 21 million naira every month as the cost of running his office. He explained his basic salary is under 1 million naira, but allowances and office running funds bring it to about 21 million naira per month. Sumaila's claim aligns with what Senator Sani's testimony said, that the official revenue body's figure, which is around 1 million naira, cover only salaries, while the real allowance component pushes take-home pay into the tens of millions of naira. Now, this revelation spelled trouble for the official body in charge of this salary stuff, so they responded. The revenue body pushed back on Sumaila's 2023 statement in a public notice, again insisting that legally, a senator earns a little above 1 million naira per month, not 21 million naira. However, Shehu Sani promptly corroborated Sumaila's accounts, accusing this revenue body of being economical with the truth. Sani noted that during his term, the situation was identical. The commission only quoted the small official salary, while senators in reality earned much more than 1 million naira monthly when all allowances were included. Essentially, the commission's figure excludes the giant operational or constituency funds that lawmakers appropriate for themselves. To put these numbers in perspective, a Nigerian senator's annual earnings, that is salary plus regular allowances plus running cost, can be estimated around 170 to 250 million naira per year in this period, depending on the source. For example, Legal expert Professor Issei Sagai noted that in the period between 2017 and 2018, a Nigerian senator earned about 240 million naira per year in salaries and allowances, that is $1.7 million. And a House member earned about 204 million naira, which brings his figure to $1.45 million. These figures include the notorious running cost provisions, and those are far higher than the basic pay. Indeed, international analysis have repeatedly found Nigeria's lawmakers to be among the highest paid in the world. A 2013 report by The Economist ranked Nigeria's federal legislators #1 globally, with an average lawmaker earning $189,500 per annum. That is about 30 million naira at the time in basic pay. This is highest even without counting the huge extras. When all the allowances and running costs are considered, their compensation towers even more over that of legislators elsewhere. But don't take my word for it. Let me show you how much legislators earn in countries like the United States, the UK, and Canada. As opposed to the money-making venture that is Nigeria, federal lawmakers in advanced democracies earn more straightforward salaries with relatively limited allowances. Here is a comparison of official annual base salaries in the 2015 to 2025 period. In the United States, members of the US Congress, which is House and Senate, have been paid $174,000 per year throughout 2015 to 2025. The salary has been frozen since 2009, and they receive the salary only, no constituency allowances or wardrobe stipends, although they do have separate office budgets for staff and travel. However, those expense budgets cannot be taken as personal income. They must be spent on official purposes only. Even top congressional leaders only earn modestly more, which is $193,400 for majority and minority leaders. Now, aside from salary, US lawmakers' benefits include standard health insurance and a pension if they serve long enough, but no extravagant allowances. A typical US representative or senator's pay of $174,000 equals roughly 70 to 80 million naira per year at 2023 exchange rates, which is less than half of what a Nigerian senator was getting per month when running costs are included. But how about in the United Kingdom? Members of parliament, known as MPs in the UK, earn a base salary of £74,000 as of 2015, which gradually rose to £86,584 by 2023 and £91,346 by 2024. Now in USD terms, that's roughly $100,000 to $120,000 annually. UK MPs also can claim reimbursement for office expenses, staff, travel, and accommodation in London if needed. But these are tightly audited expenses, not cash given directly for personal use. There are no equivalents to Nigeria's constituency allowance or personal hardship allowance. The bulk of an MP's compensation is the salary. Notably, UK MP's pay is determined by an independent body known as IPSA. This is to avoid self-awarded raises, and increases are indexed to public sector wage growth. So if the public sector wage is not growing, the MPs cannot pay themselves more. And when we move over to Canada, members of parliament in Canada have also seen modest salaries by Nigerian standards. In 2015, for example, a Canadian MP's base salary was about $164,400 Canadian dollar per year. This has increased with cost of living adjustments. By 2024, the base salary reached $203,100 Canadian dollar, which is approximately 120 million naira at 2024 exchange rates. Canadian MPs likewise receive office and travel budgets, but these are for parliamentary duties. A backbench MP's salary, which is 170,000 Canadian dollar or 130,000 US dollar, is in the same range as that of a UK or senior US lawmaker, and only around 10%, which is 1/10 of what an average Nigerian senator costs the public annually when all allowances are considered. But why is this even a problem? Now, let's see how much essential workers like doctors, school teachers, and lecturers get paid in Nigeria. According to official records, these professions have experienced only marginal improvements in pay in the period ranging from 2015 to 2025. Medical doctors, for instance, in the public sector are paid on the CONMES scale, which is the Consolidated Medical Salary Structure. An entry-level medical officer, which is the house officer or medical officer too earns roughly 1.8 million naira per year. That is about 150,000 naira per month as of the 2019 adjustment. In 2019, after the new minimum wage, a fresh doctor's annual salary was 1.8 million naira. This is equivalent to $5,900 at the time. Resident doctors who are postgraduate trainees might make around 250,000 naira per month on average in 2023. Even senior doctors like consultants in federal hospitals have salaries on the order of a few 100,000 naira monthly. This means a doctor's entire year pay, which is about 2 to 5 million naira, is less than what a single senator earns in 1 month of running costs. But how about school teachers? Teachers' salaries vary by state and level, but they are generally low. A public primary school teacher on grade level 8, which is a typical level for newly hired teacher with NCE or bachelor's degree, earns on the order of 50 to 60,000 naira monthly. This comes to roughly 600,000 to 720,000 naira per year. Secondary school teachers with a few more years of experience might earn closer to 70 to 80,000 naira monthly in better paying states. But many teachers, especially in rural areas or lower paying states, earn under 50,000 naira, some barely above the old minimum wage of 30,000 naira. The average annual salary of a secondary school teacher in Nigeria was estimated around 493,000 naira, which is under 50,000 naira per month as of mid-2020s. Now, to put things in perspective, a senator's monthly pay of 21 million naira is roughly 350 times the monthly wage of a Nigerian teacher earning 60,000 naira. Put differently, one Nigerian senator's monthly allowance could pay an entire staff of several hundred teachers. Now, let's head over to the universities and you will understand why ASU is always going on strike. Academic staff in federal universities are paid on the CONUAS salary structure. This simply means Consolidated University of Academic Salary Structure, despite holding advanced degrees. Their pay is usually modest. A lecturer too, or assistant lecturer, often a junior academic with a master's or PhD, earns around 130,000 naira to 150,000 naira per month early in their career. Now, a mid-career senior lecturer earns about 231,000 naira per month, which brings it to 2.7 million naira per year. Even a top-of-career professor at the bar, that is the highest step, was before recent adjustments entitled to roughly 416,000 naira per month, which adds up to 5 million naira per year. In 2023, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, noted that no Nigerian professor earns above 416,000 naira monthly, lamenting that this is less than $600 even at official rates. This means Nigerian lecturers are among the lowest paid in the world. By 2024, due to naira devaluation, professors said they effectively took home around 500,000 naira per month, roughly $300 to $330 in value. In comparison, a Nigerian senator's annual package of 170 plus million naira can be over 30 times the annual salary of a senior professor who earns 5 to 6 billion naira. So a professor can spend his entire life in the classroom and still not be able to earn in 4 decades what a senator takes home in 1 year. This imbalance has fueled public criticism, especially in a country where poverty is widespread and skilled professionals frequently strike or migrate in search of living wages. So, why should you care? How does this affect you, the average Nigerian watching this right now? You see, greed is a terrible thing, and if not checked, it spreads, and soon enough, what you get, no matter how ridiculously high, it never truly satisfies. This has been the case with the Nigerian legislative body. Several investigative reports have alleged that beyond the official remunerations they get, Nigerian federal legislators often have access to additional source of funds and patronage. Some of these are alleged to be blatant corruption or abuse of office. Let me take you through a few examples. The first is contract allocation and political patronage. Lawmakers wield influence in the award of government contracts. This has resulted in alleged cases of favoritism, with some reports quoted as saying that the senators allegedly directed contracts to their own companies or those of family members and associates. This is clearly a form of patronage and illicit enrichment. The Independent Corrupt Practices Commission found numerous cases of constituency project contracts being awarded to companies owned by the sponsoring legislator or their relatives against procurement laws. For example, the 149.9 million naira youth empowerment contract in Abuja was awarded to a company owned by a relative of the senator who nominated the project. Likewise, a 199.9 million naira water project contract was discovered to belong to another senator through a proxy company, with that company repeatedly getting contracts for projects he sponsored. These self-dealing practices allow senators to kick back public funds to themselves, thereby accumulating wealth illegally. But contract allocation and political patronage is just the beginning. We have had reports of budget padding schemes. Budget padding has been a major avenue for questionable enrichment within the legislature. This refers to legislators inflating the national budget by inserting additional projects or amounts primarily for their benefits. In 2016, Abdulmumin Jibrin, then House Appropriations Chairman, exposed a scandal wherein House leadership allegedly added 20 to 30 billion naira of forced projects into the budget for themselves. Jibrin accused the Speaker, then Yakubu Dogora, and 3 other top members of trying to insert 30 billion naira in personal projects and allocating billions of wasteful projects to their own constituencies as ways to siphon funds. He documented how over 2,000 fictitious projects were spread across the budget to benefit fewer than 10 lawmakers. Now, as is common with whistleblowers in this hallowed chamber, Jibrin was suspended from the House and later reinstated after an apology. But there's another scheme called constituency projects. Since 1999, the federal government set aside a dedicated zonal intervention project, ZIP, a fund of about 100 billion naira annually for grassroots constituency projects chosen by legislators. This is roughly 100 to 200 million naira per lawmaker each year on average. In theory, the projects ranging from boreholes to health centers and skill acquisition programs should be executed by government agencies for the benefit of constituents. In practice, however, oversight is weak and many projects are poorly executed, abandoned, or outright scams. The ICPC's Constituency Project Tracking Initiative has uncovered that less than 50% of many constituency project funds actually go into execution. In one case, motorcycles budgeted for a youth project in Yobe were delivered to the sponsoring legislator in Abuja and never distributed, even though the area had a motorcycle ban in effect. These abuses suggest that some lawmakers treat constituency funds as a personal ATM. By sponsoring projects and then ensuring they or their allies implement them, they pocket large portions of the 100 billion naira annual constituency allocation, contributing to personal wealth. And when they are done making laws and want to retire, they still go home with large sums of money through something called retirement benefits and pensions. By law, federal legislators do not enjoy a lifelong pension after a single time, unlike some state governors do. They are, however, enrolled in Nigeria's contributory pension scheme during their tenure. More prominently, they receive the one-time severance gratuity, which is 300% of annual salary, about 6 million naira officially. In practice though, as seen in 2019 and 2023 budgets, the National Assembly often allocates extra funds under severance or end-of-service benefits for legislators and their aides, which is far exceeding the revenue body's formula. Now, at a time when Nigeria's total public debt is climbing dramatically, it is so unfair to the general public that the few who have been elected to represent their interests are instead out to enrich themselves. There are very few well-equipped hospitals to serve over 200 million citizens, but these politicians seem not to care. Insecurity in the country has become economical. People are engaging in all sorts of illegal activities to survive. Inflation is extremely high as the naira continues to compete with cryptocurrencies in terms of volatility. But the people's representatives are feeding fat on the meager resources left for the country. This leaves us with one crucial question: where are we headed as a nation? Thanks for watching. I'm Jude Bella, and this is Declassified on News Central.